Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTubers. This is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon. And I want to jump off from this part of this story with the background of Lights Out that we've read. Most of you, I assume, have been with me through that. And I want to going to do a close-up of that if I can get it on there. Guess I got to come over here. Sorry for the, picture of a bridge. It's kind of cool. Jersey's brother, I guess he works at Big Lots. I don't know if he got it there, but anyway, it was nice of him. Kind of a housewarming gift, picture of a bridge. And there's a story of the two brothers that had a falling out. And one brother was going away, and this carpenter guy came up, and he had a big pile of material, and he said, "I want you to build a wall between me and my brother. I never want to see him again. He's not welcome on my property, and I don't want to ever talk to him again or hear anything from him. Build me a wall." He went away and came back, and the carpenter, you know who the carpenter was, had built a bridge instead of a wall. And the guy was mad at first, but the estranged brother from the other side came over, in tears. And anyway, he said, "Wow, I can't believe you did this for me, and that you love me that much." And the guy's like, anyway, it worked out. They made their reparations. So, but the thing about having a bridge, a wall, or a wall around a community and a bridge, from person to person, family to family. So I want to read this little section here that after this interchange here of John's daughter Melinda being kidnapped, and they asked, perhaps you should send Anne and Melinda away for a while. John's jaw took a set, and he said nothing for a moment. "No, I think we probably won't see any more of these people." And then on and down, "I couldn't think of a safer place for Anne and Mel to be than right here in a community that knows them and will look out for them. Look how fast we reacted when they grabbed Mel. That was their undoing, actually. I don't think Heath Lauren expected us to be able to react nearly as quickly as we did. If he'd made it back to the federal highway with Mel before we could get ourselves organized, things might have turned out much differently." And then, of course, Jimmy mentions the dog hunts. "If it hadn't been for those dog hunts your dad and Ed here put together, we'd never have been organized enough to move so fast." So they had that under their belts. And then when the deal went down, we already had our communications set up and men willing to participate. We'd cut off his line of retreat and was putting pressure on him from the other side before he even knew what was going on. Even if he'd had a radio or scanner to listen in on our traffic, he couldn't have done much differently than what actually happened. And then Ed joined in. Them dog hunts and the posse tracking down them rustlers did a world of good. A big part of the reason we had so little trouble around here, I'll bet. Word gets around in the lowlifes on the make will go elsewhere looking for easier picking." Same thing that came out with Silver Hills in Lights Out. Now, here's my point. People have no concept. And, I've known for years that this region here is large. How many hundreds of thousands of farms are here? I don't know. Galen Chadwick once said that something like, we need 300,000 family farms. We need to get back to the Jeffersonian farm, the family farm. That's Thomas Jefferson's ideal. This country should have always remained as a nation of family farmers. We should be Israelites. We're not. Israel was an agricultural nation. So the more we can get back to that, the sooner we can get back to that, the better off we'll be. This region is large enough to have, I calculate, you can disagree or not, I don't really care what you think or what anybody thinks. The facts of the matter are that this region can support, most likely, somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 million people, 50 million people. That's based on a lot of years and a lot of thinking and a lot of, just facts, history. Switzerland, number one. is the biggest one. So anyway, it's possible. The capability is here, the wealth is here, the water's here, the woods are here for building, the wood for building and wood for heating. Wood gas, we build wood gas fires like they did in this story, no problem. There's enough wood here to power probably the entire state of Missouri. Well, maybe several states. It doesn't use that much. So anyway, community is critical. Now, I want to talk about what's been happening, and that is that so many people, and this is just because up until this point in time, they have had no election. They've had no choice. In other words, gentlemen, we have no election. Well, okay, where are the interruptions? Yeah, screenshots. There we are. Okay. They really haven't had a choice. You know, a man today, just today, drove from Wyoming. Now, whether he started yesterday or whatever is irrelevant, but he texted me when he was in Kansas City. We're really excited about being in Missouri. It's him and his daughter. He bought 1 acre. It's bare land, Instant Acres or Homestead Crossings, one of the two. There's Ozark land, but most people are buying from Instant Acres and Homestead Crossings. I don't know why. It just seems to be but these people are making money hand over fist. My point is that, you know, a lot of these people are going to be hurting big time, especially before winter. If they think they're going to, I mean, they're hopefully they can. I mean, but if we're going into a grand solar minimum, which is the fly in the ointment, the monkey wrench and the whole thing, it's going to get dicey, really dicey for a lot of people. And I'm not saying anything one way or another on that. That's not the topic of this talk. The topic of this talk is we have got to do something different, and we need to do it really quick. Okay? So that's where I'm starting out. Now, the video I'm going to pull up here is, if I can see it real quick. All right. It's a couple that is, oh, maybe I didn't do a screenshot of that one, or living stupid. All right, well, there's a couple that's how we bought land from 1,500 miles away, okay? I'll just tell you, Living Traditions, I'll put a link down there when I'm done. Living Traditions Homestead, and I'm going to go just through a few of, because they're helping people. They're telling people how they did it. And I would suggest, if anybody's thinking about, if you're in the city and you're in the process of selling your home, get with people like that, listen to them. They've done it, okay? There's other people that don't necessarily live in the Ozark Plateau. There's a couple back east. They're in Kentucky, West Virginia, somewhere like that. South Carolina, I don't remember. And they bought land for, quote-unquote, $200 an acre. Well, what they did was they bought land, logged the timber, and, you know, they should have made a ton of money off the scrap metal on the property, but they bought an absolutely trashed property and came out pretty good on it. Basically, in essence, they offered $50,000 for 100 acres, and they logged off $30,000 worth of timber. So they got the land basically for $20,000, $200 an acre. Okay, so another couple that have been helping a lot of people doing a whole lot is Chris and Joe. Bam. Okay. Now, this is one of her latest videos, and this is kind of a concern to me. We gave away all our homestead animals, okay? And one of her next videos was, she's put on a lot of weight, and I've asked for prayer for her already. Going off grid with kids legally. They've addressed a lot of issues of homesteading, gardening in the Ozarks, off grid Ozark family. Some up at the top there, summer garden tour. Going off grid with kids legally. Going off grid. Do you know what you're giving up? Do you have any idea what you're talking about? Everybody thinks that off grid is going to be this glorious, wonderful freedom. Well, yeah, it may be and it may not. It may be the greatest slavery you ever got into. Off grid water. Kip Smith. Now here's another. This is an issue here. Why Missouri? Up close and personal with the Smith family. Kip Smith channel. About 20 at least people have chimed in on that one. I should have done a video already why I chose Missouri. That would take about me 15 videos, but I need to do one video on that, and I haven't, and I need to. I definitely need to. So pitch in on that subject, but we really need to stress you're not talking Missouri specifically per se. You're talking Ozarks. Okay, so that does me. In other words, homesteading. Somebody just today wrote on one of the forums, that Living Traditions one, how we bought land from 1,500 miles away. They're going to move to northern Missouri, and I wrote them. I said, hey, watch some of my videos, rethink that one. That's not a good idea. They're going to be they're going to be north of the Armageddon line come GSM time. They're going to be right in the dead zone of if there's a civil war, 100-mile wide, DMZ, demilitarized zone, dead man zone, whatever you want to call it. So, not a good idea. Off-grid water. This is Chris and Joe. Now this one here was phenomenal. What you need to know about the Ozarks. Wow, awesome stuff. I mean, she put her heart out there. Now look at her there. This was February 15th. That was February 15th. So in a matter of February, March, April, May, and June, and suddenly, it's the other direction. I'm sorry. Anyway, she's not in good health. Okay. Right over there. What's so good about Missouri collaboration? That's Living Traditions. That's what they look like. They are city people who sold their house and bought a nice property. They're doing gangbusters. They've got everything they need. Well, they have a lot more than Chris and Joe do. Chris and Joe are living off grid, out in the country, ticks, chiggers, and all the other stuff. She may have tick issues. She might have Lyme disease. Don't know about their diet. Not good. Now you can see here she's a little bit heavier there. Mirror, mirror, shiny glass, please tell me this isn't my ass. And then I thought I had it. Okay, those two there. Let me go up here. Okay, there. So moving to the Ozarks in the bottom right there, her 19-minute phenomenal video. Oh my gosh! I mean, she poured her heart out. I mean, it's just. I am so grateful to her for doing that. Really trying to help people. Honestly, trying to help people. And then look at her over here. I mean, maybe it doesn't look that different, but yeah, she says in this video she's going to be doing some dieting and weight loss and stuff, which I'm going to probably do a video on that and stand up with her. So anyway, we need to. Oh my gosh, we need to make some changes. Okay. Instant Acres and Homestead Crossings are the two that are just, as they say in the sales industry, raping and pillaging. And they're kind of literally raping and pillaging because they're going to be destroying. I mean, there's not their fault. I mean, they're doing what they're doing and they're salespeople, but they're not. I just am upset with the whole scenario because it shouldn't be happening. Nobody should be buying 1 acre because they have to. There's a young couple here. I mean, I've met them. I met them at the Flat Earth thing. Mick and his wife. They live about 30 miles from me, and they're planning on living in their RV. And